Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're diving into some seriously fascinating source material. We're going to look at teachings that ask us to question, well, pretty much everything we assume about who we are. It's a massive paradigm shift, really, regarding our identity, our intentions, and the actual nuts and bolts of karma. We're exploring the illusion of the self and examining how our everyday actions literally construct the reality we call life. So get ready, because this is the kind of explainer that will gently, but absolutely fundamentally change how you view every single interaction from here on out. Let's get right into it.
Okay, so right off the bat, who is having this experience? Seriously, ask yourself that right now. We all walk around every single day lugging this massive, unquestioned assumption that there's a permanent, fixed I sitting right behind our eyes, firmly gripping the steering wheel. But the core insight of this inquiry asks us to turn around and look directly for that experiencer. Try it. When you pause and search for that permanent self, maybe you're breathing, maybe you're working, or just listening to my voice right now, what do you actually find? Is there a fixed entity in there, or do you just find more thoughts scrambling to try and answer the question?
And this leads us to a pretty brilliant paradox. Is there really an experiencer set apart from the experience? Or is the whole shebang just experience arising, changing, and passing? You see, the moment you try to isolate the observer, you quickly realize that the act of observing is, well, it's just another passing event. It's an ever-changing, flowing river. There is no isolated, permanent observer standing safely on the riverbank. The observer is literally just part of the rushing water. And the goal here isn't to logically solve this like some giant puzzle. No, it's about embodying a state of ceaseless curiosity. It's about being totally okay with not knowing the definitive answer.
Now, a super common and completely natural reaction to all this is, hold on a second, how on earth do I actually function in the real world if there's no fixed self? Well, the source material explains that we have to learn this sort of dance between two spheres, ultimate truth and conventional truth. There's this highly relatable story shared in the text about a practitioner. She's deep in this meditation of not knowing, really in the zone, when suddenly her son interrupts to ask if the loud hammering outside is bothering her. And without missing a single beat, she drops right into conventional truth, says, "No, honey, I'm perfectly fine," and then just slides right back into the ultimate truth of ceaseless curiosity. See, we absolutely need conventional truth. We need it to recognize our friends, to do our jobs, to function in society. But we can simultaneously hold the ultimate truth that underneath it all, it's all just a fluid, changing process.
To make this even clearer, there's this absolute genius of a modern metaphor from the source material. It honestly completely shifted how I think about this. Imagine someone invented a non-self app for your phone. You press a button, and boom, it completely strips away all the superficial, surface-level noise. Look around through this app, and you instantly realize everyone around you is manifesting the exact same fundamental human experience. You see a guy riding a bike, a woman driving a car, someone walking their dog, and yeah, on the surface, it's incredibly diverse, but beneath all that, we are all just life happening. We are the exact same fundamental awareness, just viewing the universe through vastly different temporary contingencies, like our genetics, our current environment, or whatever passing needs we have in that moment.
Understanding this fluid, ever-changing nature of reality forces us to completely rethink another really heavy concept, karma. But before we get to what it actually is, we have to unlearn what we think we know. Listen, karma is not some predetermined fatalism where your whole life script is already written in stone. It is certainly not some harsh cosmic punishment for bad behavior. And it is absolutely, categorically, not a rearview mirror used to victim blame people for their current suffering by making up stories about their past lives. Honestly, those views are cold, they're heartless, and they completely miss the mark of what these teachings are pointing toward.
So what is it then? Well, in its original Sanskrit, the word karma translates to one simple thing: action. Just action. Neutral, positive, negative, it doesn't matter. It's a natural law, as impersonal and reliable as gravity itself. But what actually drives the action? That brings us to a crucial concept called cetana, which translates to volition, intention, or urge. Here is the key takeaway. Our karma is generated entirely by our underlying intention. Whatever seed of intention we plant, whether through our body, our speech, or our mind, that dictates the energy of our action. It's literally the soil from which all our future habits are going to grow.
And what absolutely fascinates me here is how this ancient philosophical concept perfectly mirrors modern neuroscience. Seriously, look at this famous 1949 quote from neuropsychologist Donald Hebb. "Neurons that fire together, wire together." When we repeat a behavior, or when we just keep reinforcing a certain belief in our minds, we solidify that intention into what we mistakenly call our permanent personality. Think about it. If you perform an action once, hey, it's happenstance. You do it twice, that's a choice. But a third time, you are building a habit. And that is exactly where karmic energy takes hold. Your personality isn't this fixed, unchanging self, it's just an accumulation of your repeated karmic habits.
Let's break down exactly how this plays out in our day-to-day lives. Traditional teachings map this out using the 10 non-virtuous acts. This locates precisely where our unskillful intentions manifest across 3 specific areas. First, in the mind. This looks like greed, harmful intent, or dogmatic wrong views. Then it moves to speech. Think lying, divisive gossip, or really harsh words. And finally, in the body, where it escalates to killing, stealing, or misconduct. Now, a quick caveat. This isn't about harsh moral judgment. It's a diagnostic tool. If you see these actions arising in your life, you know for sure that your underlying intention, your chaitana, is rooted in a really unhelpful place.
And what's really amazing is how we can actually physically detect these roots. You don't have to sit around and guess. Your body will literally tell you. Unskillful roots, stuff like greed, hatred, and delusion, they always manifest as feeling tight, guarded, and physically contracted in your nervous system. On the flip side, skillful roots, like loving kindness, wisdom, generosity, and compassion, they make you feel open, relaxed, and spacious. It's a total game changer. You can use your own somatic, physical sensations as a real-time body barometer. If you're feeling tense and guarded, check your intentions. If you feel spacious and open, you are likely operating from a really skillful place.
To really master this kind of somatic awareness, traditional Tibetan Buddhism uses this incredibly intense practice. Here's how it works. Step 1. You meditate for 2 straight weeks exclusively on taking the life out of something. Now, don't worry, this doesn't have to mean a living being. It could be actively pulling the energy out of a dead-end project or letting go of a toxic relationship that's way past its expiration date. Then, step 2. You spend the next 2 weeks meditating solely on giving life to something. Finally, step 3. You deeply observe the visceral physical reactions in your body. By isolating these 2 extremes, you actually train your nervous system to intimately recognize what these actions feel like. It allows your body to become this highly tuned compass for making skillful choices in the messy real world. But, okay, as we dig this deep, you might start feeling a little creeping sense of dread. If there is no fixed self, no permanent I, then what is the point of doing anything? Why bother being skillful at all? This right here is known as the nihilism trap. And trust me, it is a completely natural roadblock on this journey. But the answer to this trap is actually right in front of us. Even if there's no fixed self to take things personally, the experience is still happening. Pain still arises in the world. Boundaries are still crossed. And when pain occurs, it naturally calls out for our compassion. We lean towards what is pleasant and skillful simply because it reduces suffering in the ongoing, flowing experience of life.
Because the nihilism trap is so sticky and dangerous, the philosopher Stephen Batchelor compares embracing emptiness to taming a poisonous snake. It's a wild analogy, right? If you grab these teachings incorrectly, or if you just dive in without proper preparation, the snake bites you with apathy and despair. And that is exactly why this explainer covers material that demands such sensitivity, structured practice, and a really clear view. We can't just casually toss the ego in the trash. We have to deeply study our intentions and our karma first. That way, we don't lose our compassionate grounding when the illusion of the self finally starts to fall away.
So, as we wrap up this explainer today, I want to leave you precisely where we started, but hopefully you're standing on completely new ground now. As you navigate the rest of your day, as you feel moments of stress tighten your chest, as you feel the spaciousness of a genuinely kind interaction, as you recognize your own intentions shaping your karma minute by minute, I challenge you to just pause. Look directly at the reality flowing through you and ask yourself one more time, who is having that experience?